One Punch Man Season 3. Yeah, just gonna rip the band-aid off now. It'll go smoother that way. And if you're expecting me to rag on this season like just about everyone else has done at this point, allow me to disappoint you because I can't rank this. Yeah, I didn't watch this, and therefore, by technicality, I can't put it in D tier like you probably thought I would. You see, I enjoyed Season 1 when it came out just as much as everybody else did. It was a great anime. I was optimistic. But the backlash to Season 2 was so rough that it caused me to be turned off enough to not want to continue. Now, this seems hilarious in hindsight because a lot of fans are defending Season 2, but when it came out, I was honestly unemployed at the time and just too bummed out to watch anime then. Plus, at that point, I had already watched and loved Mob Psycho 100, which sure, you can enjoy more than one anime, but everything I could have wanted from One Punch Man I got from Mob Psycho 100, which is one of my favorite anime ever, and I haven't engaged with One Punch Man since Season 1. I've never read the manga. I'm sure it's fantastic. This is one of the most popular series ever. But the reason I'm saying all this is because I just want to say, I saw the writing on the wall before this season happened. I mentioned it in my Fall Ultimate Guide that it hadn't had a full proper trailer yet, and when it did come out 9 days before it started, there was the greatest supply of copium I've seen huffed yet. This season was announced 3 years prior to its release, and we didn't know any of the details until mere months before it began. Nothing about this anime screamed confidence in the final product leading up to it. I'm not blaming anybody who's disappointed in this. I'm just saying that there are signs it was going to be lackluster. But look, I don't blame the staff who actively worked on this. I've never made an anime before, and at the very least, they all have. I want to give them respect for putting something out. And I truly feel sorry for everyone who did work on this. It's always going to stick with them. Who I do blame are the higher-ups in charge. One Punch Man is still the most popular anime of the season despite its divided reception, which means they're likely making a profit. Realistically, One Punch Man will not be on the same wavelength as Season 1 again, and now I've seen fans accept that and hoping that we at least get a sequel that's on par with Season 2. But if the higher-ups are gonna profit off of this no matter what, why would they bother? Any publicity is good publicity after all. A sequel's already been announced, and sure, it's coming out next year, but seeing how you have to watch Season 3 first, I wouldn't get my hopes up. I love to be proven wrong. I love to see One Punch Man get back on top of the world again, but the reason why I'm sounding so cynical is because I used to be a massive Pokemon fan, and I haven't been excited for a Pokemon game in nearly a decade. Whenever a new game comes out in the series, and it's got issues, I am not the least bit surprised. It's going to print money, so why bother putting that towards a better product when it's just going to rake it in by the boatload? And really, who wants to work on this anymore? Many of the animators involved deleted their social media accounts because of the harassment they received online, which is disgusting. If you think making a bad anime is worth putting someone down, or worse, then why the hell should they make an anime free in the first place? This is only scaring talented animators away from this, and those who did work on this season were given the Herculean task to steer a sinking ship that was flooding as the season progressed. It's just sad, all things considered. The final product, the reception, how wonderful IP has been mishandled, and the backlash. And really the only reason I'm mentioning all this is because it's the most popular anime of the season, so I should probably say something. But still, in all fairness, I can't give it a full rating. I haven't watched it, but at this point, I honestly doubt I will. I'm glad the manga's still there and it's still being celebrated, but it's depressing how everything has been handled. On the flip side, My Hero Academia final season has been received with thunderous applause. Now, I've always liked My Hero. I really have. And I hate to keep doing this, but I also can't give this one a rating. I haven't watched My Hero since Season 3. And Season 4 came out when I wasn't unemployed, but I had just started a new job and I didn't really have much time to watch anime then. However, I'm glad with how well the finale has been received. My Hero Academia is many people's first anime. Seeing it reach its finale and receive this much fame and acclaim is truly beautiful. I can't help but feel proud seeing Deku come out on top along with everyone else. And hey, not too long ago, my favorite anime ended after a decade too, so I can relate to anyone who's been excited about this. I'm tempted to put this in God tier for just how good of a story this success has been, but I know this is going to be crazy to anyone watching this tier list out of context, since I'm putting these two shows together. I still can't give this a fair rating since I just haven't watched it yet. What I will say is that I'd love to come back to this series in some way. I don't know what that would be like yet, but I feel like I could make a video or something down the line about My Hero Academia. It really does deserve my time and attention. Also, hello and welcome. Hi, I'm Action First, and despite these first two rankings, I actually did watch anime this fall, so the rest of these anime are ones I actually watched, which is why you should join me as I continue my journey to discover the perfect anime. Starting off with The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. Yeah, it's not technically a fall anime, but I did mention in my summer tier list that I'd be coming back to this since Netflix started streaming this in September, so it's a technicality. Yeah, I was real pissed off back then, but now I can talk about the show proper. And hey, this anime is extremely well done. I feel spoiled finally watching this now, since I see what all the praise and hype was about. It's about this boy, Rintaro, who attends the underfunded and run-down Chidori Public High, as he develops a romance with Kaoruko, a student at the prestigious and proper Kikyo all-girls private high school. Yeah, that makes sense having these two right next to each other. What, you didn't know that Harvard is right next door to Hustlers University? And guys, I really loved watching this anime. It made me feel so warm inside, and it's animated beautifully. But this isn't my favorite romance anime of the year. Mainly because, I know this is gonna sound weird, but I think that the cast is too perfect. Like, I couldn't help but keep making comparisons while watching this to The Dangers of My Heart, which might just be the best anime I've ever seen in my life. And one of my favorite things about that anime is that the characters act very much in line with what you'd expect teenagers that age to act like. I understand Rintaro's feelings due to how others have perceived him, but I didn't feel like too many of the other teenagers acted like how you'd expect them to. This almost seems like a perfect scenario of what high school could be like. And honestly, this anime did remind me of some of the people I knew when I was in high school, but I would have liked to see them interact and hang out more like how high schoolers do, like how we see in the end of the season. Horimiya is a crown jewel for me at least when it comes to presenting high schoolers in this way. And I also would have liked to see more of Karuko's perspective since we only get to really see the world through her eyes in the season finale. Now, I know this might be a bit disappointing, but I want to reassure, I did love this show. I really did. I'd absolutely love it if we got a season 2, but as it is, I can't justify myself putting it higher than S tier. It's an extremely high S tier though, and I'm sure I'd rank a sequel higher, but for now, that's where I'm most confident ranking it. And guys, I swear, I'll be more positive in this video. But not right now. Dusk Beyond the End of the World is a massive disappointment. I'd willingly go to bat for PA Works any day of the week, but that also means, since I'm a huge fan of them, that I should call out when they swing a miss. I mean, the show started off so strong. I was gassing it up in the Fall Ultimate Guide because the first episode was fantastic and had already come out by then. It leads off with a really interesting premise, making you think you're watching a beautiful romance, only to hit you with, nah, here's 200 years in the future. Everyone's dead. And then after the second episode, what happened? Yeah, this isn't a roaming in the wasteland with a robot wife anime like I thought it'd be. I mean, it is. But the focus is not necessarily on the main cast as we learn about how love and romance has changed in the future, which is an interesting premise, but do we really need such a large portion of the series dedicated to the incest mafia? The direction here is all over the place. It won't get a D tier because, for what it's worth, the first 2 episodes are great. There's a really cool plot twist, and I kinda like the ending, but man, this was still a massive disappointment. But I am rooting for PA Works to bounce back with the next one. Knowing them, I'm sure they will. Spy X Family Season 3. Yeah, here's an anime that I'll have nothing but positive things to say about, because god damn it, man. Every time I think this anime is getting too episodic or formulaic, or that it hasn't really been going anywhere, it just hits me with the best episode of the series. Yeah, Season 3 has been my favorite season of Spy X Family, even more than Season 1. This is just a well put together anime that decided to take things in a darker turn with its arcs during this season, but hit it out of the park each and every time. It's pretty clear that this will be a long-term investment for everyone involved, but I'm glad to see it happen. There's a reason why this is one of the most popular anime of the decade, and this season only further proves that. I mean, I've met parents at anime conventions who have named their kids after this anime. They're named Frankie. My Status as an Assassin obviously exceeds a Hero's is not an anime that ranks higher than My Hero Academia. But this was my choice for what the most anticipated isekai slop of the season would be, since there's no reason why Studio Sunrise, the Gundam studio, should have adapted this and went as hard as they did. But here we are. Akira Oda and his entire class get isekai to the Kingdom of Lettuce.
This world is called Morrigan. You now find yourselves in Redis.
Redis. And are all given their own class. Yeah, you know how this usually goes down. Heroes, defeat the Demon Lord. Sorry about kidnapping you. Exams are canceled for this week, but your parents think you're dead. We'll deal with it later. Go find out which Hogwarts house you're in. Mine says janitor. So Akira gets the assassin class and proceeds to kill nobody. Look, I've seen a lot of people be hard on the show and Akira himself, but I found out from a Reddit comment that the author for the series wrote this in high school, and honestly, that made me admire the series a lot. Like, this is their first published work. It's probably not going to be the highest quality, but for some reason, of all isekai, it got a solid production by a capable studio, and is at least mostly entertaining. Though I don't understand why Akira is more interested in reading books than spending time with his beautiful elf wife.
I'm reading a book, girl, I'm reading a book. Don't you ever interrupt me while I'm reading a book.
He really should catch up on some action first. May I ask for one final thing, on the other hand, is an anime where, unlike the last one, the MC instead only watched Vinland Saga Season 1, as she only has enemies. Like, this anime has what I'd call the Villainess version of the isekai boar fight. The annulment of marriage in front of a crowd where she's publicly shamed for things she likely didn't do. But here, the solution is simple. Violence woke up and chose her. My years of experience working in retail taught me that some people out there deserve hands. Scarlet Elf and Dimian can and will deliver them. Yeah, this show is extremely entertaining to watch. I especially enjoyed watching the English dub on this one.
Of all the faces, there are none I love bloodying and mangling more than fat, greedy, noble ones.
Scarlet's voice actress, Morgan Garrett, did a heck of a job, and she's just so charismatic and fun to watch whenever she beats the ever-living crap out of people. People who all deserve it, mind you. Despite how much I love this series, it's getting an A tier. A high A tier. It's extremely satisfying to watch, but the one issue I had was I just couldn't enjoy her brother. She could be sending these fuckers into next Tuesday, and yet he constantly runs over and goes, "Scarlet, why do you have to be a badass?" It gets annoying, but I'd really be down for a season 2. And hey, overall, this was a pretty good season for Villainess anime. Past Some Monster Meet Milady is another one I watched. And hey, we've got Delicious in Dungeon, now we got Delicious out of Dungeon. Malfira cooks monsters, which is a major taboo in this world because they're filled with magic toxins, which she's come to learn how to dispose of. When she orders Basilisk from Texas Roadhouse, she gets it. She shares this interest with her fiancé, Aristide, and it's a lot of fun watching these two flirt over their shared interest of preparing and eating magic beasts. Nothing says I love you like bloodletting eldritch horrors. And guys, this anime is plenty cute and fun, but I didn't really have a whole lot to say here. It wasn't the most remarkable to me. I mean, there's only a handful of magic beasts I could eat in here. And I like Villainess anime. This was just okay. The dark history of the reincarnated Villainess is a lot of fun though. Konoha Sato gets isekai to the very world she created when she was in middle school. And yeah, this seems pretty accurate. This is a woman who's reliving the shitty-ass Mary Sue fanfic she wrote as a bored, cringy, chuny, horny teenager. And it shows. Even her mom thought this world she created was pretty goofy. Konoha, shouldn't you be out socializing with your friends?
I can't, Mom. I'm isekai maxing.
Okay, dear. I mean, the main character in this story was named after herself, too. Normally in Villainess isekai, the MC knows the story ahead of time, and can work around changing her fate so she doesn't die. Iana kind of forgets what happens because she doesn't want to relive her past cringiness. I don't blame her. What makes this anime so fun is Iana Magnolia herself, the person that Konoha was isekai'd as. Like, one of my favorite things about this season was just pausing each episode at random times and seeing what great reactions Iana would have. This one being my favorite. I support villainesses. I support girl failures. I support villainess girl failures. If there's any anime from this past fall that I'm glad aired when it did, it's Sanda, even though the last episode came out right before Christmas. It's about a kid named Sanda, and he's a descendant of Santa Claus, who he transforms into when he wears red. This is like if Professor Oak turned into a tree during Arbor Day. And guys, this anime is actually pretty dark. Santa Claus only comes out when children are in danger because he believes that all children should be smiling. So in order to bring him out, his classmate Furumura decides to stab him and rigging a bomb to blow up. Guys, I think she's more of a St. Patty's Day kind of person. Yeah, this is a world that would suck to live in. It's really not as cheery ordinary as you'd expect for it being a Christmas anime. But it's awesome! Big shoutouts to Science Saru for animating this, and Paru Itagaki for writing such a unique story. Finally, an anime YouTuber that doesn't have to insult the anime MC to be entertaining. Aw, thank you. But not today. Fuck this guy. Watari-kun's Something is About to Collapse was an anime I didn't rank in the summer season, because that video was long enough, and I was gonna rank it here anyways. This is an anime that's technically a love triangle, but like, at one point he's actively dating one of the girls, and falls in love with the other, so he decides to dump both of them, when he was already dating one of them, while he was in love with both. I love harems, I'm not afraid to admit that, but nobody really deserved to be happy here. The MC is beyond indecisive and drags others down with him. When he rejects both girls, one of them doesn't want to see him again. I wonder why. She even switches schools, and sure, I get he's trying to be more mature, but the decisions he makes are usually the wrong one. I get it, they're teenagers, they're going to make mistakes and be cringy. But hey, there's a much better high school rom-com in this tier list, and pretty much every other one that I've done. This show went on for 26 episodes, and I followed it for all of them. I don't know why I keep doing this. Maybe I'm just too stubborn, but when this series ended, and yes, this is a full adaptation, I'll admit, it was just for completion's sake. I really don't like saying this, because once again, I've never made an anime. I don't know what it's like, but I genuinely hated watching the show for like half of its runtime. It has its sweet moments, some of the characters are decent, and one of the real late episodes was actually pretty good, but I would not recommend this rom-com over really any other that I've watched. While I'm here, I might as well go over the other summer anime that carried over. Tougen Anki is also pretty bad. Yeah, not gonna sugarcoat this. Not much is quality here. It is the most color by number battle shonen you'll probably ever see. This was actually really hyped up and a lot of promotion went towards it, but I didn't see anyone talking about it until that one episode where the girl with the big bahonkers talks about how much she wants to wipe that guy's ass. Which might not narrow it down because every single female character has the exact same body type. And honestly, every male character does too. Tougen Anki, more like Twinkie Booby! The pacing is all over the place. The villains are cartoonishly evil, and half of the characters are real annoying. But guys, I can't hate this anime. I'm gonna be real with you. Blood manipulation is the coolest anime power to me. This was a pretty trash anime, but I couldn't help but enjoy it. This was the Iceblade Sorcerer shall rule the world for me for half of the year. A recommendation only if you're exactly like me. And even then, there are much better anime to watch. Gachiakuta is a good anime that I'm really glad to see how successful it's been. Season 1 just ended, and we've already got a second season announced, a stage play, and a video game. And man, this world is awesome to look at. The character design is banging, everyone is dripped the fuck out. Like there's drip and then there's erosion. And the power system is literally trash. The world is based off of trash. It makes me glad I live in a world with tetanus shots. I mean, there's trash dinosaurs. This show is awesome, and I love how unique the power system is. All of the vital instruments were discarded from elsewhere. Being surrounded by trash means you're surrounded by options. Yeah, this anime is an A tier. I wanted to put it higher, I really do, but my main gripe about this series is that the first OP hits you with and then much of the episodes are rather tame. Studio Bones is an excellent studio, and they did a fine job here, but I couldn't help but want this anime to get crazier, zanier. I was hoping that this anime would become an utter assault on the eyes, something to match all the garbage and graffiti everywhere. I will say that I very much enjoyed Jabber though. He's the exact kind of character expected to see in this world, and I watched the English dub for this one too. Zena Robinson killed it. Gnosia, on the other hand, is an anime that blew me away by going as zany as it needed to. I went in thinking this would just be anime Among Us, but I'm glad my man and fellow anime YouTuber Floyd Lawrence kept hyping this up all year to me, because man, this is a good anime. It's more than just a social deduction game. I mean, it's based off of one, but each episode is mostly its own self-contained story as Yuri keeps looping through death, or even looping when successful. And as the story continues, you keep learning about the characters on the ship. Even when they're dangerous parasites looking to hunt down everyone else, they're still really good people, you know? Especially SQ. My world for SQ. When SQ is happy, I'm happy. Especially when she's a Gnosia. Yeah, the show is fantastic, and it's continuing right now too. Make sure you check this out. Chitose's in the Ramune bottle is a pretty unique harem because it begins with the harem already existing. I mentioned before what makes a great harem great is when the main character is the best part of the show. Everyone should have a reason for why they'd be into them, and Saku really is a great harem protag. He takes things as far as they need to in order to not necessarily be the solution for others' problems, but does what needs to be done in order for the other person to figure things out themselves. He genuinely wants to help people. That being said, this is a weird harem too, because most of the girls into him we barely get to see. Like the first arc is about a male classmate he becomes friends with, and the other arc is about a girl who forms a fake relationship with him. Yeah, only 2 arcs because production issues have plagued this series. It's off to a pretty solid start, it's animated well, and I like the characters, but I want to see more here before I give it a full ranking. However, every season in 2025 somehow needed a trash rom-com since this fall, we got My Friend's Little Sister Has It In For Me. And honestly, I thought it was alright. The comparisons to can a boy-girl friendship survive are there. I mean, Iraha has the same voice actress as Himari. Yeah, you might want to bow out now. You can always marry her brother. But yeah, I'm fine with the teasing type. I mean, I like Nagatoro, and she was way worse to Senpai in the beginning of that series more than Iraha ever is. But what I did like about this series was it can be kind of weird. And I like it when anime gets weird, but I think this anime could have been more weird in order to stand out better. My gift level 9999 unlimited gacha backstabbed in a backwater dungeon I'm out for revenge is a name so long that on the anime subreddit the punctuation had to be removed from the title so that the discussions could be posted. I love that. And I know what you're thinking. There's no way an anime like this could be good. Well, guess what? You're wrong. Genuinely had more fun watching this than with nearly every other anime from this past fall. If you're going to actually commit to having a revenge fantasy, then commit to having a revenge fantasy. Yeah, Light is pretty twisted. He wants to get revenge on the hero's party who betrayed him, and has every right to do so. And revenge is best served at the hands of gacha gamers, because we know what true suffering is like. And with his gacha ability, he's able to form his own organization, known as the Backstabbed Boys. Okay, I'm sorry, that was god-awful. Yeah, this is some absolute schlock, but good schlock. I thoroughly enjoyed watching this and want to see more. A While Last Boss appeared as another anime that really nobody should have expected to go this hard. Lufus Mafal was once a hardcore gamer who played her in an MMO, until he was defeated and then summoned as her. No, you fools, I said summon heroes with great attack, not summon an angel with a great rack. When he played the game, he was the strongest final boss of the world itself, amassing an empire the likes of which had never been seen before. But now, the world has changed to become weaker. As it turns out, she did conquer the world, but wasn't that much of a villain. She treated other nations as a uniter, not as a subjugator. And now, once great nations are crippled and vulnerable, which leads me to believe that fear is freedom, subjugation is liberation, contradiction is truth. These are the truths of the world. Surrender to those truths, you pigs in human clothing! Yeah, this anime was straight fire, but it's a bit all over the place. Like, randomly an episode focuses on this rando who gets isekai'd, and it doesn't really amount to anything. For now. We've got a second season coming, so that should be pretty hyped to see. Hands off, Sawaranaide Kotesashi-kun is an ecchi anime. And guys, I did it. I watched every ecchi anime of 2025. I could put that on my resume now. Some of them are actually pretty good, and others... To Your Eternity is an anime that's had the wildest ups and downs, and that continues with its 3rd season. At its best, it's seriously up there with some of the greatest anime you'll ever watch. And other times, it's just alright. I wasn't the most into season 2, I still enjoyed it. This is still a pretty great series overall, but fortunately season 3 has been a lot more up my alley. I was worried that it wouldn't have the emotional and dramatic punches that the first season was able to provide, but To Your Eternity still has that punch. Sure, the Guardians and Nokers have continued with him for all this time, but perhaps they'll stay with him to his eternity. Little Miss Vampire Can't Suck Right is a slice-of-life rom-com about a vampire girl who can't suck blood the right way, which makes sense because any vampire born after 1993 can't suck blood. All they know is McDonald's, charge their phone, twerk, beat bisexual, eat hot chip, and lie. And this is a cute series, but I've come to realize that this kind of anime isn't really for me, because the MC is the most nondescript anime boy I've ever seen. For me, this is in the same realm of Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. I get the joke is that he's a background MC, but like, he doesn't have a mouth most of the time. She can't suck right, but he can't even eat right. It's fine, but one other thing about it is that there's other paranormal and fantastical people just waltzing around town normally. Like, here's a zombie girl. How does that work? I'm glad the Summer Hikaru died got as much acclaim and attention as it has, but This Monster Wants to Eat Me also deserves its flowers too. Instead of a friend dying and being replaced with a monster, Hinako's entire family was killed in a horrible accident. And she's been left with crippling depression, survivor's guilt, and a scent that allures deadly yokai who want to devour her. The only defense are other yokai, very hungry yokai. Yeah, this is an excellent series, but like, it gets really tense and heavy. I've watched every episode, and all I want to see is Hinako happy again, and the light in her eyes returning. But it's not that simple. And even horrifying man-eating monsters realize this. And finally, Undead, Unluck, Winter Arc, and Kaguya-sama Love is War, Stairway to Adulthood are two OVAs that came out recently. And I guess I'm including OVAs now in these tier lists, but regardless, I do want to at least acknowledge them. Now, the last time I ranked Undead Unluck, I didn't actually give it a ranking because I was making a dumb joke, but yeah, this is moved into S tier. The series has crazy world building and a really interesting but tragic power system. And with this new OVA, we finally get the season 2 announcement that we've been waiting for, and Kaguya-sama is one of the best anime ever made. And if you thought the series would lose its touch, it doesn't. Now, admittedly, it's only 2 episodes, and the last installment of the series was 4 episodes. It's a bit disappointing that the anime skipped like half of the chapters in order to get to the ending of the series, but I heard from source readers that the content that comes after the first kiss and never ends isn't the greatest. So maybe A1 Pictures had this planned all along. That being said, we are getting a brand new movie, which seems like it'll be anime original to cap off this series once and for all. Would I have liked to see another 3 seasons of this? Of course. But if this is what A1 Pictures thinks is the best parts that needed to be adapted, then they chose well. But I'm putting this in S tier, simply because this is the end of the video and I don't feel like making an entire other tier just at the end here. So I'll just put it at the top of S tier. Just imagine it's a god tier, as it brings us one step closer to finding the perfect anime. And there you have it, ranking every anime I watched and some I didn't for the fall season. Yeah, this was a bit of a slog, I'll be honest. Even the anime I liked, I didn't like as much as other seasons this past year. And you need some slow seasons every once in a while. I don't want another one as good as Summer's anytime soon, because that was just so much to keep up with. But there's still some gems here for sure. I hope I wasn't too negative in this video, by the way. I still enjoyed more shows than I did in overall. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to sub. Oh wait, I forgot one. Tales of Wedding Rings Season 2 is one of the most frustrating anime I've ever watched. Why? Because it's an ecchi isekai harem where the MC literally gets stronger from the bonds he forms with his wives, and needs to get stronger in order to defeat the pretty badass looking Dark Souls boss, known as the Abyss King. He wants to have sex with his wives, they want to have sex with him, and yet he finds any excuse to weasel his way out of his husbandly duties. There's every reason in the world for this guy to lace a pipe, but he refuses to get his plumbing license. If he was dying and the only cure was sex with his wives, he'd become the Tron series. This isn't a car stalling on the freeway situation. He's got a full tank of gas, oil change done, roads are paved, beautiful sunny day, and yet he refuses to hit the gas pedal because he doesn't want to touch the steering wheel. They want to do it, he wants to do it, and yet he keeps coming up with every excuse not to do so. It's not the right time. I don't want to become corrupted by temptation. I want to be fair to all of you. I already had sex with myself. I have an overdue library book. I'm Gen Z. The only saving grace this show would ever have is if he mans up and does what he and his wives all mutually consent and have expressed desire to do so. But at this rate, I don't know if this is ever gonna happen.
I know what this is about. You slept with him. Did you really? I knew it.